Before I go any further, and anyone thinks I'm slagging gyms off, I want to say this. Gyms are brilliant for the right people. If people are confident, if they know what they're doing, if they like training on their own, if they want all those different machines, then gyms are brilliant. There's some amazing PTs out there, some amazing gyms, some great online coaches. But what I think the problem is they serve a smaller part of the population than they'd really like to admit. Because if you think about it, gyms are full of, on the whole, fit people, people who are in great shape, a lot of people who've been training for a long time. And whilst that's amazing, and as I say, there's some amazing gyms out there, there's some brilliant equipment, some incredible PTs, I know a lot of them. But if you aren't fit, you aren't confident, you don't know what you're doing, then where do you go? In today's traditional fitness industry, there really is nothing for you. And that's why Hitsona exists. Because what I see all the time, and I've seen over the last 11 years of running my Hitsona studio and helping all the Hitsona studios around the globe, is that there's a really, really big part of the population who know they want to exercise and know they want to be fitter, but they don't know how to do it. And when I say don't know how to do it, what I mean by that is they don't know where to go to do it. They don't know anywhere that they feel safe, that they feel confident, they feel embraced. Because what's happened to a lot of these people, and I include myself in this, by the way, before Hitsona, is a lot of people were fitter and healthier when they were younger. And then life came along, children, grandchildren, real jobs, busy lives, stresses and strains of daily life. And suddenly we find ourselves a bit heavier, we find ourselves a bit less in shape, we find ourselves less confident, mental health can take a bit of a kick. And suddenly these gyms, these PTs, these places we felt comfortable as in our teen years and in our 20s, when we were confident, when we were fit, really don't feel appealing. And people don't want to go into those environments. Because if you think about life, all those things are going on. Like there's everything going on. There's money, there's grief, there's work, there's stresses, there's bills to pay. There's all of these things going on. And the last thing people want to do in their spare time is go into somewhere where they feel isolated, intimidated, uncomfortable, like they don't know what they're doing, and they don't get results from it, and they feel like it's a waste of time, and they could be doing better things with their time, instead of thinking, I failed at the gym again. Instead of feeling like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm so unfit, I'm never going to get any results doing this. And what actually comes along is people think maybe it's too late for them, maybe they're beyond help. Or they feel like nothing's going to work for them and they've just left it too late. And that last one really gets to me actually, because it's never too late. I have people coming to me now who are in their 60s, for example, and have let things go a little bit. They're not where they want to be. They've got those aches and pains. They're heavier than they want to be. They're starting to get some health issues creeping along. And what they realise is if they want to live into their 80s, 90s, beyond, they don't want to spend those last 20, 30 years really struggling and with their life feeling really small because they can't do anything. Because if you think about it, as soon as we start to lose that fitness, as soon as we start to put weight on or feel less comfortable in our clothes, all of those things that happen, our life starts to shrink. We don't want to be in photos. We don't want to do those things that we've done in the past. We don't want to run around with the kids as much, or if we do, we feel like we can't. People start to avoid social events, they avoid activities. Their life just gets smaller and they get less happy. And actually, that's why at Hitsona and what I do, I feel a real responsibility in helping people get their lives back. It's not just about losing weight or losing body fat or fitting into smaller clothes. That might be a driver for some people, but actually what I'm trying to do is help people get that confidence, that energy, and live their life how they want to again, like they did when they were younger, instead of feeling like that's just passed them by and they're on a slow, steady decline. And actually, when we really think about it, with all the people I've met over the last 11 years, thousands of people don't want six packs. They don't want to be ripped. They don't want big biceps. They don't want to be able to run marathons every weekend. Actually, what they're looking for is just to be happy in their life again, to be able to play with their kids or grandkids without worrying about getting out of breath, to look to the future with excitement because they know they've got a long life ahead of them instead of ill health and struggles and feeling like crap. All of that stuff links together. It's like they want to sleep better, they want to be in less pain. They want to have better relationships. They want to be better in their work or their jobs. They don't want to feel old before their time. They want to be able to go on holiday and have photos with their family and not say no to things on holiday because they feel like they aren't fit enough or they feel like they don't look good enough. And actually, that's kind of real life fitness. It's not what the fitness industry markets, because it's nowhere near as sexy, but that's actually what a huge portion of the population want. And I think when we get to the bottom of it, if you think about it, what a lot of people lack in the traditional fitness industry, if they step into a normal gym, they haven't trained for 20 years, they haven't exercised for 20 years, and they step into a normal gym and they're on their own, they have a quick induction and they're on their own with all these machines, all these people who know what they're doing, all these tripods around, all these people in their matching lycra looking amazing. And this is somebody who isn't in the shape they were. It doesn't have the confidence they had. Doesn't feel as good as they used to feel. What they actually need is safety, somewhere where they feel safe. And by that, I don't mean physically safe. I don't mean about being attacked or not being attacked. What I mean is somewhere where they can be authentically themselves, somewhere where they can bring their problems, bring their happiness, bring their joy, whatever it is on that day, they can come and they can be themselves. And they won't feel like they're being judged, or they won't feel like they're out of place. They feel like they're with their people. You know, things like feeling safe enough to be out of breath, safe enough to be the least fit person in the room, safe enough to get it wrong, and safe enough, I guess, to just not know what they're doing, but to try and give it a go. And we've built Hitsona for that person. And them people, and there's so many of them, fill our studios on a daily basis. And the reason for that, I mean, if you look at the Hitsona offering, what we do in our studios is 25 minutes. So these time poor people, these people who are really struggling and stressing about picking the kids up from school, about jobs, about chores, about running errands, all of that kind of stuff, it's just 25 minutes of effective exercise. And then if we look at the community and the coaches, so every session is coach led at Hitsona. So people don't have to guess what they're going to do. They can just walk in, switch their brain off, do as they're told. In a really nice way, not in a boot camp Sergeant Major way, but that gives them the safety to come in and not worry about knowing what they have to do. And then they're surrounded by other like-minded people like themselves who are willing to help them, the people that have been there longer, who high-five them at the end of the session like they belong, because they do. Because at Hitsona, one of the things that really stands out to me is the members know they're all in it together. No one's in competition with each other, no one's aiming to have the fastest marathon time, or no one's aiming to have the six-pack or look better than anyone else. People are just in it together. Yes, they might want to better themselves and they're in competition with themselves, but that's something that really stands out when you're in our communities. And just simple little things like not having to guess what to do, not wandering around like aimlessly, queuing for machines or not knowing what to do on machines, having people know your name, that's really important. Having the team at your Hitsona studio not treat you just like a direct debit or a card payment, like you're actually a real person with real fears, real worries, real goals, real dreams, real things they want to achieve. And actually what's really, really important is people need to feel like it's doable. And all of those things I've just mentioned makes this feel like it's doable. Even down to our machines, our hip machines, pattern protected machines. They're kind on the joints, so it makes people realise they can get high intensity exercise, which is super good for them and has now even been linked with living a longer life. They can do that exercise without having to worry about being in so much pain the next day they can't do it consistently. The concentric bias on the machines also means the aches and pains in the muscles won't be there in the way that they are when they go to a gym and do a hard workout. And when exercise feels doable, because of also we're adding in a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, a lot of great energy into our sessions and into our communities, it means that people want to stick to it and they feel like they can do it. And that's such a big part of consistency. And there's a reason we talk about fun so much at the studio. You'll see it in all our social posts, you'll see it everywhere. We talk about the studio being fun. And the reason we make that so important and the reason why it's at the core of what we do. One, when you're running a business, you want to have fun. You don't want to be doing something you hate. You don't want to be doing something that drains you. But even more importantly than that, for our members who know that exercise is important and know that they need to exercise and know it's what they should be doing, knowing isn't enough. Relying on motivation isn't enough. Willpower won't help them all the time. But if people are having fun with people they get on with and walking out of our studio with a smile on their face, having had a laugh, guess what? They're going to want to keep doing it. They're going to want to keep coming back And that consistency is what builds results. That consistency is what builds habits. And that consistency is why there's people who are still members at our studio in Telford, for example, 11 years later. People who have been members since the year we opened. And by removing motivation as something we need, I mean, think back. When we were children, no one needed to motivate us to go out and exercise. Someone knocked on our door. I'm showing my age now, but someone came and knocked on the door and we'd go out and exercise. We'd have fun. We'd play around. No one needed to motivate us to do that. And actually, we're trying to replicate that idea in our studios because people won't need motivated if they're having fun. They don't need to feel always on it and always like they've got to be absolutely their best and in a perfect situation to be able to exercise. Because they're having fun. And if nothing else, they come, they have a laugh, and they feel a little bit lighter mentally when they leave. And actually, that's why the owners of Hitsona Studios matter so much. We don't just have anyone as a studio owner, because in order to have a successful Hitsona studio, our owners really need to care about fun and energy, laughter, and serving a portion of the population that aren't looked after by the fitness industry. If all of our studio owners just cared about the numbers that were coming into their bank balance at the end of every month, at the end of every week, they wouldn't be able to build the kind of communities that we see in the US, in the UK, in Ireland. They wouldn't be able to build those because people see through that. As a Hitsona studio owner, by creating the fun and the environment that they do and caring about people and their results and their lives, they create a trust and they create that safe space. And that's what makes people successful. That's what makes people keep coming back. So from a business point of view, our retention numbers are amazing. And that's because our studio owners care. And they really care about their members. And if you think about it, impact and income are related with that. The more impact a studio owner can have, the more lives they can change, the more income they're going to make. And actually, we realise that our studio owners can change their own lives by changing enough lives within their community. So when people ask me why Hitsona exists, that's why it is. It's for the people who feel like they've been forgotten. It's for the people who feel like there's nothing out there for them. It's for the people who want to belong and feel safe and enjoy exercise so they can live a longer and happier and healthier life. And that's the mission we're on. We want as many people worldwide to live longer, live happier, and live more of themselves doing the things they want to do in their life. And Hitsona exists because people need more than just a place to exercise. They need somewhere where they feel like it's possible to do that again, where it's possible to feel healthy and happy and fit and to enjoy their life.